Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
It is brought to you by Mr. Matt Van Voorst of Macias Insurance as well, Lydia. And we thank you for that introduction. Lovely Lydia.
Yeah,
From
Matt
about,
Van
what,
Voorst.
7 years ago?
Yeah, the lovely
Probably.
Lydia talking about the lovely Halpin. And the lovely Dennis talking about the lovely Matt Van Voorst.
Yeah.
See, look at that. A lot of lovely people out tonight.
Yeah, well, we got to start it off with a sad note, Piggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just heard.
Yeah. One of our guests passed away somewhere in the last couple of weeks. We don't have official details, but Kevin Hamilton of Artisan Studios.
Yeah, down in Granite City. Just an amazing producer, a really nice guy. You spent the whole day with him down there, with him at the studio the entire day.
Yeah, very
He
good.
pretty much just showed you everything in the studio.
Well, we just hung out and discussed music for, 8 hours, 9 hours, something like that. But you remember as well, when he was here, our minds were blown
Yes.
after he left the room.
He
And we walked all the way out to our cars and continued that conversation and enjoyed every minute of it because the knowledge he was dropping on us was just unbelievable.
He was immediately talking over my head where I was playing catch up the whole time because his knowledge of recording and of gear in general. He could talk about microphones for hours. And he had a special. He had what you said. He had a collection of 20, 30 different styles of really awesome microphones.
Oh, yeah. The microphone's worth more than our houses. You
Right.
know.
What a great guy. Super nice. Big smile on his face as he talked to you about all the projects he'd have been involved in and all the gear that he had. So very, very into what he did and had really touched quite a bit of music in his lifetime. So
Yeah, from California. Started in the studios out there with all the hair bands.
yeah,
Back in the
out
90s.
in L.A. Yeah,
Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, his dad was FBI or something and knew about the Manson case.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
And then he decided just to move here. He stopped to visit some relatives and thought, this might be a good place for the studio idea I have.
Yeah, ended up settling right in Granite City. So he will definitely be missed. And sad moment. I didn't even realize it till you told me that when we walked in. So you had heard that through the grapevine.
Yeah, Jeremy Drake from Shotgun Creek.
There you go. Wow.
Right. Sent me a note on Monday. He was just as blown away, all them guys,
Yeah.
because he was a young guy.
Yeah.
Good health.
Absolutely. Well, very sad to hear that about our friend Kevin Hamilton.
Yeah, I got double sad this week, too, because one of my listeners passed away of a heart attack as well. Tom Newcomb out of Bethalto.
Oh.
He could drop by his house and he'd still be on the 1570 AM.
On the AM side, huh?
Yeah, big garage sale listener. And, so double whammy for me.
Sad to lose people. That's about the only thing really irreplaceable in this life. So there you go.
Well, and it reminds you how old we're getting to.
Yeah, unfortunately, the older you get, the more often that happens, it seems. So
It's way more shocking when you lose someone at a young age, but, always shocking no matter what, because that person's no longer around to inspire. Well, I'll tell you some good news. I see Shanty Sing-Along every Thursday night down at Morrison's Irish Pub.
You know what good news I got? I want to mention real quick. We got a new band on with us coming up right after. We're gonna run through the gigs here, let you know what's going on around town this evening.
Well, I talked about them last
Crystal
week.
Lady. Yeah, Crystal Lady
Wore
is
their
going to be our
shirt.
guest. So
I was supposed to get another shirt this week.
That's right. Yeah, that's
From
right.
accidentally on purpose. So,
Yeah, it
so
did.
I wore my Spilly Nelson shirt.
That's right. You were wearing the Crystal Lady shirt last week. So there you go. We've got them coming up here in just about 20 minutes or so. And in the meantime, as you said, the Sea Shanty Sing-Along's already happening at Morrison's Irish Pub.
We're going to be talking the finals of Road to Pointfest, like we did last week with the competitor.
The competitor.
They're not really competitors, though. Accidentally and purpose. Didn't they start music, period, or something?
Accidentally on purpose, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they take that claim in the interview last week. So
They did.
There you go.
So check that out. Check the video out on YouTube or find it at cottonmouth.org, just like all these gigs we're going to list for Thursday night. Now we go to Cross the Line from 7 to 11 at Fast Eddie's in Alton. Open mic at Raging Cajun tonight at 9 o'clock. Open mic already underway out at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey. Everhart and Light hosting that. Started at 5. DJ Tony does the Thursday nights down at Martin's Tunes and Eats in Wood River. Graham Pagano having a steak up at George's Local Brew in Jerseyville from 7 to 10. Dave Horton doing Big Daddies in Edwardsville from 6 to 9 p.m. Speaking of Big Daddies, I was at the neighboring venue last night. We'll get into that in a second. Bob Leone, 7 to 11 at Deutz Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. Mo Pleasure, 6 o'clock at Patrick's in Granite City. Andrew Dahl, or Dawley, could be either. 6 o'clock at Old Herald Brewery in Collinsville. He has a really good website, by the way. You know, I like my websites.
I know.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work, so when you find a good one, you're like, wow, check this out. They're working. Piano Joe, 6 to 9 at Prairie Inn in Dorsey tonight in Shotgun Creek. Talked about Jeremy Drake earlier. 7 o'clock, they do that Silver Creek Saloon almost every Thursday down in Belleville. They got a couple more gigs. A little farther away this weekend, but we'll get to them because Jeremy's in tune. He listens and comments, and we love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are pushing our way towards 300 subs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's how you say it in the big YouTube world.
I thought we were going to have some substitute teachers come in here, a whole flock of them.
Sub sandwiches. 300
yummy.
of them. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
300
you love your
footlongs.
sandwiches, and Alex loves his sandwiches.
300 foot of sandwich.
Why not 300 of them? Right? Hey, they're firing it up like crazy this weekend down at the conservatory.
I saw this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually posted this on their site today.
Nice.
Yeah. I hadn't seen anything on that, but I was cruising sites, and I seen that Nico had a gig down there this Friday. Nico was posting it. And it's Kid Computer, Nico, Daisy Chain, and Good Question, 7 o'clock at the Conservatory and Alton on Friday. That'll be a good time.
4 bands there.
Yeah,
There you go.
more coming your way Saturday. Some out-of-towners even. Pianos at 10 o'clock at Raging Cajun on Friday, all mixed up at Fast Eddie's from 7:30 to 11:30. Trag Band at the VFW from 7 to 11 in Alton. Got a note from a bartender
Oh, yeah.
from the VFW, who I know. Natalie Jones.
Yeah.
I said her name now.
All right.
So, but she wanted to thank us for announcing all the Friday gigs at the Alton VFW.
Oh, nice.
And I reminded them that help me by posting that stuff, and I won't miss one.
All right.
Do you come down that way? See the sign, though, sometimes?
I sometimes bring Albie, and sometimes I'm coming down Godfrey Road, so... just
From
depends.
Pigpen Estates, his own...
Pigpen Estates.
He's got his own subdivision now. And,
I played the Sims game.
It's kind of smelly, but that keeps people away, and that's his plan.
Some people call it a pig farm. Some people call it a subdivision.
Okay, the Rollins brothers will be at the Sports Tap on Friday night, 8 o'clock. So check out the guys from Beowulf, Bobby and Jimmy Rollins. Also in town, Ed Bailing, 7 to 11. 7 to 10. Those L's got me. Ed Belling, 7 to 10 at the Lodge at Lovejoy in Alton on Friday.
All right. Then we've got the Intrusion.
Yeah.
Doing an early one, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is at the SIUE Springfest on the campus of Edwardsville. So that's an early morning gig going on there.
And I'm sure there's probably going to be more bands, but only the Intrusion was promoting this. I searched all over for the SIUE Springfest, and my Google didn't tap into it. Maybe yours will.
Good. You know what? Good for the Intrusion for promoting it. Thanks, guys.
I know when you read this, though, it had to cross your mind the old Springfest Out at Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark, yeah. When I saw SIUE having that, I thought, well,
Yeah.
that takes me back to the old Hathaway Hall Spring Fest that we would have out there.
You're right.
Some good times.
Getting ready to possibly graduate, during that time. And usually the elder statesmen throw a party. Why not?
Yeah, good times.
Here we go. Friday night. You got something else? I didn't catch.
I was just going to say, there were so many years that I was almost going to graduate. I got to participate in several of those.
You did. That's all right. You're a big star now, so you just proved to the world that you do not go to college, folks. Just
what do you call a star that's a burnt out?
learn how to scheme. Learn how to what do they call that in the pimp world?
Pimp.
Hustle. Learn how to hustle, right?
Gotta hustle, man. Gotta hustle.
You learned everything about hustling from the Grateful Dead University of Lots.
I did a few tours, tours of duty.
And it's still helping you today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who else I learned a lot from? Mr. Carlos Santana.
You did not learn anything from him. You did
Black
not know
magic
him.
I learned from him. No,
You're trying to move to the next gig, which is at the Wild E Theater where I was last night.
Nice.
Black Magic, the Santana tribute and experience. And, the guys I was with, well, one guy, one gal, Wayne and Trina Adams, they paid my way to see Prague Jet.
Oh, all right.
Which was, wow. So you're going to do Prague covers. Just like if you're going to do Santana covers.
Right.
You better have your game.
Absolutely.
So they did. They did.
They do some like?
They did all the really hard prog songs. And sometimes they didn't play them like all the way through. They just played the really hard parts. Right? So it was like a mix-up of full songs and parts of songs.
And medleys.
And then kind of improv off of some of it. Not really improv like Grateful Dead and improv, but obviously while they were rehearsing for this, because there's no way you could have played what they played without rehearsing.
Yeah.
Right. They decided to venture out and twist things around in their own little way.
Right, put their own
So it
flavor
really
on
wasn't improv, but it was.
But they put their own
I guess
flavor on some
rewritten
songs.
would be the best way to.
Rearranged. There you go.
Yeah,
Beautiful. So that was.
I know nothing about music. So.
Right. So that what was the actual name of them again? Prague
Jet.
Prague Jet. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And I'd reel off the names. The one you would know is Mike Keneally, probably.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who did like Zappa tributes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The singer apparently is in some band. I was going to look all this up today, but I didn't. I knew we only had so much time, so I didn't really. I wanted to talk about what's going on this weekend, but.
Well, what is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Lanny and Julie, 6 to 9 p.m. at Big Daddy's on Friday night. And then the Robert Perry Band will be down the road from there at the Stagger Inn again, going 5 to 8 p.m. on Friday night. Also in Edwardsville. Oh, no, nothing at the Reese's Brewery. All right. We got the Double Wide Duo, though, right down the road in Glen Carbon. The Cabin at Judy Creek. And then Frankie and the House Shakers.
Right.
Going on Friday night until midnight at the Tegan's Pub House in Granite City, which we found out is not a new place, but we've just recently come across it.
Yeah, but they're building.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Granite, a lot going on in Granite City. Rock Bottom's going to be down in Granite City on Friday until 1:30 a.m. at Patrick's.
That's not a new place.
That is not.
That's an old Eddie's.
Absolutely.
In Granite City. Right?
Scott and Michelle Acoustic going from 7 to 10 p.m. Friday night at the Elks in Granite City. Then we got Hicktown, Pontoon Beach, Deutz Village Inn. And an open mic night with Steve Mellis at the Hog Pit. Now we're moving down to Grafton there. Mm-hmm. Shotgun Creek, Acoustic Trio, 7 p.m. at the Time Out Sports Bar in Troy. And then Mike Judy presents Tay Money. That's going on at the Red Flag in St. Louis.
Look at that ticket price, baby.
And that ranges from $22.50 to $122.50. So, there's some really good seats and some really bad seats, I'm guessing.
It may be sold out. A lot of his events lately have been sold out.
That is true. So, and then finally on Friday night, the Graham Band going until 9:30 p.m. at the City Foundry in St. Louis.
Right. And then
that
I'll
is a Friday
take us
evening.
to Saturday, and we'll remind you if you're just tuning in. Coming up in just a minute, Crystal Lady talking about Road to Pointfest.
Finals.
Well, they will be begging for your support, just like Accidentally on Purpose did last week. And they need it because all you have to do is purchase tickets. Even if you don't go, just go purchase some tickets with their name in the coupon, right? The little coupon thing. Yeah, so there's a link at cottonmouth.org. Just go there and vote for your vote if you want to do it that way, or go see a show. Why not?
That would be
Pops
what I would
and Sauget,
suggest.
because this is the future. The future bands here. I really spun that CD that they dropped off. They've got one of those Patreons where you can follow them and then you can really follow them. So if you sign up for their Patreon, you get more stuff.
Yeah, right. I remember them talking about that.
And they gave me one of the CDs live from quarantine that's only available through Patreon. So I checked that out, and it sounded really good for a live recording.
Well, and they have an engineer, so that knows quite a bit about it. That we'll find out more as we talk to them in the interview here coming up.
All right, so your page got cut off, so I'll have to fill you in on what's going on Saturday night at the Conservatory. From Milwaukee, JR and the Strangers are going to kick it off at 8 o'clock. They'll be followed by Humans and Strangers at 9 o'clock. I'm not sure if there's going to be some type of duel to see who keeps the name Strangers. Or maybe it's the same Strangers from JR and the Strangers.
Yeah, JR.
And they just joined up with some Humans at 9 o'clock.
JR's not human is what you're going to find out when you get down there.
Not really sure. But then, wrapping up the show, the Evergreen, 10 p.m. at the Conservatory in Alton. If you want to find out more about these bands, they have nice little write-ups on all three bands at the Conservatory Facebook page.
There you go. So just go to Facebook and check out the Conservatory.
Get the background on the new bands coming to town. One from Milwaukee, JR and the Strangers.
All right, going down at Fast Eddie's Saturday night, we got Matt Zeiss and Company, 2 to 6 p.m., and then All Mixed Up, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. at the Bon Air. Colossal Wreck going from 7 to 11 p.m. at Baker's and Hale in Godfrey, while Lazy Lester also doing to 7 to 11 at the Clifton Terrace in Godfrey. The Hurricanes will be over at the Sunset Bar in Godfrey starting at 8 p.m. and Worth the Fights going down at Martin's Tunes and Eats in Wood River. DJ AutoCAD, 10 p.m. at the Franchise in Wood River, and Foreplay 9 p.m. at the Pump House in Wood River on Saturday night. All the Frog Flippers will be checking out Flip the Frog, 9 p.m. at the Refinery Bar in Wood River, and then John Jarrett's up at George's Local Brew in Jerseyville going 7 to 10 p.m. on Saturday night.
Tanglefoot in Jerseyville as well from 7 to 11 at DJ's Pub, Terry Beck at Grafton Winery, 3 to 7 on Saturday. Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters, 8 o'clock at the Bloody Bucket Saloon in Grafton. Black Magic, night number 2, the Santana Tribute and Experience. That's both there. 8 o'clock at the Wildy Theater in Edwardsville. And that dude better know how to throw down some notes.
Yeah, you better have some soul pouring out your guitar.
The spirits in the sky or something like that. What Santana would say.
Oye, como va?
Yeah, there you go. I don't speak Spanish, but he gets the rattling sometimes. Scott Marlin, 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. Dave Horton, 2 o'clock next door at the Foundry Public House in Edwardsville. Tom Hall around the corner at Stagger Inn, 5 to 8.
Is that the guy who plays the amplified jug for the 13th floor elevators?
Tom T. Hall's son.
Tom T. Hall's son. This is just Tom. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Tom T. Hall's
Took
got
the
more
T
awards.
out so you wouldn't confuse him with the other Tom T. Halls.
There you go.
Everett Dean, 6 to 10 at Bella Vista Winery in Maryville on Saturday. Lanny and Julie, 1 o'clock at Edley's Barbecue in Glen Carbon. That seems like an every Saturday thing at 1 there. With the barbecue, Double Tap, 6 o'clock at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon on Saturday. Down and Dirty, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. at Tegan's Pub in Granite City. They're doing it an hour longer, than the previous night. Hicktown, 8:30 to 12:30. at Deutz Village Inn and Pontoon Beach, and the Roland Brothers at the Red Bar in Collinsville. 8 o'clock.
Now here
Saturday.
we go. Saturday. Here we go. This is our guests that are coming up are part of this this next bit. It is Road to Pointfest 2022 Session 2 Finals, and that has Shots Fired, Sleepaway, Jake's Mistake, Interpersonal, the band we had on last week, Accidentally on Purpose, and our guest this evening, Crystal Lady. They're all going to be playing at Pops this Saturday night. It is Session 2 Finals for the Road to Pointfest. Now, that's $6 for the advance tickets, $8 a day a show, and if you get your advance tickets for $6 over the internet, as we said earlier, you can put what band it is you wish to sort of vote for or that you're rooting for.
Yeah, in the access code at the ticket
go.
link, which is available at cottonmouth.org, or probably any of those bands' Facebook page.
Right, so wherever it says access code, just type in the band that you are rooting for.
Right, and just a shout out to the local Alton bands who have already participated in this. You know how tough it was out there. Now it's your turn to give the support to these bands that are trying to continue. Pick one and help them out. And that's how it all gets better, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's head to Staunton now for Saturday night's Lanny and Julie show from 7 to 11. Outlaw Express in Chesterfield from 6 to 10 at Wild Pickens. Graham Pagano at the Venue on Main. The Venue on Main in Belleville. Shotgun Creek in Jamestown. Starting the Revolution, 8 p.m. at Bottoms Up on Main in Jamestown. The Downbards with special guests, The Final Pollution, At My Worst, and Birds of Squalor. Saturday night, 8 o'clock at Red Flag in St. Louis. And that takes us to Sunday, where Matt Tall is playing from 2 to 5 at the Lodge at Lovejoy. In Alton, Bearded Bandits 1 to 5, and Gusto 6 to 10 at Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton. And Elijah Talent and Friends 4 to 8 at Shea Maryland's in Alton. And Talent for a last name. How about that?
There you go.
Or it could be Tall-ent.
Tall-ent.
There's 2 L's. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, you
But
guys.
Elijah, and they're putting some new acts in there at Shea Maryland's. We've seen some new names, so this is another one of those. That's cool.
Awesome. There you go. Also got an open mic night with Whiskey River Band going on 3 to 7 p.m. at Martin's Tunes and Eats on Sunday.
And then the page cuts off there. I don't know why that's doing it, but this is the Cottage Chills Wrestling Alliance weekly show, 3:30ish, and that's at 127 West MacArthur in Cottage Chills. They released the video from last week's show on YouTube today, so that's available now. Scott Logan and Leslie Craig from 1 to 5 at Grafton Winery Sunday. Jonathan Baker 1 to 5 at Aries Winery in Grafton. Bob Gleason 2 o'clock at the Bloody Bucket Saloon in Grafton. Jared Lutz 4 to 7 at the Corner Tavern in Edwardsville. Open mic with Butch Moore Sunday nights at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville from 6 to 10. And I don't know what time they get naked anymore. We'll have to ask Bush. He hasn't posted that in a while. Soulshine Groove, 4 to 7 at Big Eddie's in Edwardsville. Blue Monkey, which is somewhat related to Blue Marlin. Remember them?
I do remember that.
The relation being Scott Marlin. But Blue Monkey is the version of this. That's Marty Altenberg. He's from the Strangers duo. Joe Lang and Scott Marlin. 4 to 7 at Mike Shannon's Grill in Edwardsville. You can do that one. I don't even want to try saying that.
Bear Keller Boys
There
show.
you go. That's pretty good.
It's going on noon to 3 p.m. at Rhesus Brewing in Edwardsville.
That's a tuba polka band, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
German style. Scott and Michelle, 2 o'clock at the Cabin at Judy Creek Sunday. Dave Horton at Hoodats on Sunday from 2 to 5 in Collinsville. The Grand Band in Pocahontas at Copper Dock, 2 o'clock in B&B Strings.
What?
B&B, Pocahontas.
Oh, Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. Pocahontas.
Oh, Pocahontas. Okay.
Illinois.
Okay.
We're speaking native.
Yeah.
B&B
I'm down.
Strings, though, 2 to 6 at Wild Pickens in Chesterfield. Not native there, just strings.
Plain old B&B Strings.
And that takes us to our stars of tonight, the talent we feature for this big show on a Thursday night, April 7th.
it is Crystal Lady.
Well, first I got to wake up the computer. It's sleeping over here. So
There you go. This is Crystal Lady.
why we do that, we should probably thank who? Our sponsors.
Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voris of Macias Insurance.
Riverbend Talent on the Big Z. I'm Dennis, Pigpen along.
I'm here.
And we're talking to Crystal Lady this evening.
And we are brought to you by
Crystal Lady.
Halpin Music and Matt Van Voris.
CrystalLadyBand.com.
And CrystalLadyBand.com. That's all the sponsors, I guess.
I couldn't remember. I'm glad he got
Well, there you go. So anyway, brought to you by Halpin Music and Matt Van Voris of Macias Insurance. CrystalLadyBand.com is
you.
our guest today. Jimmy G, who turned us on to Hayes Bond,
Yep.
and is just a great dude, has been telling me about this band for about a year. We've tried a few times to get him. It has finally worked out. So we will introduce you to Chela on vocals. Hello, Chela.
Hi, how are you?
And we have Corey on drums. Good evening, sir.
What's going on?
Dylan, Mr. Bass Player, how you doing? And Nick on the guitar.
Howdy.
So you guys became a band because Chela is the Crystal Lady.
Yes, sir. Pretty much.
So we will start back at the beginning a little bit with Miss Chela, and you brought this band together back in 2014 with a whole different lineup.
Yeah, so 2014, I was a sophomore in college. It was like December 2014, and I had a couple friends who, we were all in school at Webster University studying jazz. And we were like, well, let's try to make some money on the weekends and start a band. And it was at very first guitar, voice, mandolin, very like coffee shop vibes. And we added bass and we added drums. It was a 5-piece. And we played in that figuration until 2017. 2017, we put out an album, first album called Crystal Lady. And we went on a tour. It was awesome. But then life hit. One guy got married, one guy got a job, one guy moved away, and it was just like, so I'm standing there with this album and this like killer tour history and like all these cool shows that we played. I'm like, can't just stop. So I go to my bass teacher because my drummer stuck around. My drummer held it out, and I go to my bass teacher. I'm like, hey, I need to find guitar and bass. Can you help me? And he recommended Dylan to audition him as a bass player. And my mandolin player was willing to stick around and play guitar for a little bit until we put the pieces together. So then it was, we got Dylan, we had my old drummer, my old mandolin player, and then shortly after that we ran an ad on Craigslist saying
Dangerous.
it's very dangerous,
everybody.
saying we need, and this ad essentially said, we are a rock band in St. Louis and we need a guitar player. If you can play, we'll send you our music. You got to come audition, be able to play our originals, and we'll go from there. Nick found us, and we got a lot of calls from people like in St. Owens and Illinois. Nick calls us. Well, I think your stepdad called us initially.
My stepdad, he owned a store in St. Clair, Missouri, and needed me to help him out, and to kind of entice me to come up here and help him run it. He found these guys on Craigslist, among some other musicians that didn't work out with.
Good.
Went and, right. I could have got murdered a couple other times.
Yeah.
But I went over to their place, and it worked out.
Yeah, we auditioned him. He played every single one of our original tunes off the first album,
Yeah,
like
really
note
good.
for note. And he had just started studying the music in the car ride up from Georgia to St. Louis. So we're like, okay, this guy's got chops. We brought him on, and we had a couple drummer change-outs, and then eventually we landed on Corey in 2019 when our last drummer went away to the military.
Yeah, Isaac did go off to the military. And he's still doing fine and everything.
Oh,
else
yeah,
like
Isaac's
that.
cool.
But when they hit me up, Dylan was actually the one who hit me up. And he was just like, hey, could you fill in for us?
I like the way she said landed on you better. It's just more visual to me. That's all right, yeah.
And he hit me up and he was like, hey, could you fill in for us? And I was like, ooh, it's been like 4 years since I played, but yeah, absolutely. And so I came, and they were all that. When I pulled up to the house, it was just out in Chesterfield and everything. I was like, all right. So I pulled up in the house, opened the door. They're all there in the living room, just sitting there, just like, hey. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm the only one of myself there, so I was just like, cool. But then they like sat
Turd
me
in the
down.
punch bowl.
Exactly. and so they just sat me down and auditioned, and then
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had known Dylan a long time, right? You guys grew up together,
Oh,
right?
yes, absolutely.
And so that's why Dylan hit you up and
Absolutely.
said, hey, we're looking for a drummer because this guy joined the military because he wants to go throw bombs at people instead of play drums or whatever. I'm not judging the guy, but he's missing out. That's all I'm saying.
It was crazy because we had just tracked a bunch of drum tracks for a project we were working on, and then he was like, all right, guys, well, I think I'm going to join the military. And we're like, oh, okay.
Life happens. Life
Yeah.
happens.
Lost him to the marching band, to the army band.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. So that was 2014. You kicked it all off, and you put out an album in 2017 with that original
Yes.
lineup, or with
Very
the first,
different from
with
what
the
we do
first
now. Yeah.
group. And what was the name of that one?
That was self-titled, called Crystal Lady.
Crystal Lady, and
Yeah.
you did that with Dave Toretta.
Yes.
Over at Casa del Toretta, which
Yeah.
Dave Toretta's an excellent St. Louis musician and producer. So good. How did you like the experience working with him?
I loved working with Dave. His studio is just super comfortable, and he was so patient. That was the first time I had ever recorded, like, in any setting at all. And so patient with me, trying to get everything down. And I was very picky about how I wanted things to sound, and I was showing him songs like, I want the vocals to sound like this and put this effect on the guitar, and he just did what I wanted. And it was we did that album in a very short amount of time. We had a very tight budget, and I think we spent maybe
I can't. I'm not gonna say.
no, not money, time, days.
Dave, what was I gonna say?
No, the amount of time we spent in the studio was maybe like a week, two, max.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, and we so it was, now we're spending like a month on a song because we do it in our own studio. So in that amount of time, I'm so proud of that record because it really kind of captured what we sounded like at that time. And we don't really do any of those songs anymore, but I like that it kind of serves as a piece of like memorabilia of Crystal Lady history. And I love the music on that album, but it's very different. If you listen to what we do now, it's a lot more rocked up. I mean, it's rock, it's hard rock. Some of it's more alternative, but there are some songs that are pretty heavy hitting on this new album that we're putting out.
So I'll be honest with you. When Jimmy G first told me about Crystal Lady, I looked up videos.
Yeah.
And I truly thought there were two different bands from the St. Louis area called Crystal
Oh,
Lady.
yeah.
One that's a little more Americana folk,
Yeah.
and one that's heavy edge.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realize that there was a connecting factor
Yeah.
on these videos, because it almost felt like two different bands when and they were like live performance videos,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it had this feel like, ooh, these aren't even the same bands. You have made quite a few changes in your sound.
Yeah.
And now you put out another album, 2020, Live from Quarantine.
Yeah.
And so this was, you did the first one with Dave Toretta, you did this one yourself. It's a DIY home recording.
So that was totally live recording. My dad tracked and produced and recorded that for us. That was the four of us and 8 microphones and a case of beer in my living room. And that's all she wrote, and I love it.
4 people, 8 mics, and a case of beer. That's
Yeah.
all it takes.
Yeah.
All it takes. So, now you bring up that you did it at home. Now we're going to bring the 5th member. We're going to bring the George Martin or the Billy Preston of the band in here. Your dad Joe's sitting here with us. Hi, Joe. I'll share my mic with you.
How you doing?
Joe? Joe, you're the engineer, right? You're the producer engineer guy here, right?
Yeah, I'm a producer engineer. I'm also a musician too, and but I manage the band, and I have more fun, working for them than I do with my own career. But I love recording music, and I used to have a studio many years ago. It was what I did for a living. And when Kayla started this up and started writing all these originals with the band, I thought, I need to build a studio again because I'm not going to be spending all this money in the studio. I'd rather buy the equipment and spend the time to do it. So our house has become a recording studio.
Yeah.
Now the good thing about this for the band is that you're not on that TikTok. We have to get this done in so many hours. It costs $300 an hour just for us to be here.
Yeah.
That's setup time to hurry. You know, I mean, it's all, you're always and there's a great thing. I will let you guys know, you youngsters that don't know how good you got it. You found yourself in a magical place, because most bands are either paying by the hour, and you get that luxury of going in and there's other people engineering and running wires and doing this, or usually you're stuck doing it yourself, where you're playing guitar and pushing buttons and you know, and it's hard to think about the music when you're also thinking about production. Oh, did I hit record? You always hit record. Always.
I don't know why you're looking at me, because these young kids know all about TikTok.
On that note, I will say one thing. There is a downside to that. It gives me more time to think too much about mixes and stuff. When you're under the clock sometimes, or on the clock, it forces you to like commit and make decisions. But I'm working that out. We're starting to move a little faster, and we're going to get even faster, because when I owned a recording studio, I was still cutting tape with a razor blade. And now I learned how to use all this new equipment, and it's incredible what you could do now with equipment. But it took me a little time to wrap my head around it.
Well, it used to take an hour with tape and razor blade, and now you can do in 30 seconds. I mean, it's just insane.
And there's just things you could do with effects that were never possible before.
It's all ones and zeros now. It's all ones and zeros from here out, boys. So there you go. But you guys, you found yourself in a good position where you get to have to do it, yourself, and you got someone else running the chords. So,
and he's a pro. He owned recording studios. He has a degree in it. He's a full-blown professional engineer.
Pedigree.
So
all right.
Sounds great.
Don't go throwing your doctorate at me.
Well, pro runs in the family, though, doesn't it? As a matter of fact, a lady by the name of Laura Williams may ring a bell with some people, which you guys know her by a different name. That's Aunt Josephine.
Aunt Skipper.
Skipper, right.
Yeah. So
and that's where the name Crystal Lady comes from.
Yeah.
So, tell that.
I can tell you about that.
Yeah.
My Aunt Skipper, she's my great aunt. She's my dad's aunt. And she was a singer-songwriter who she toured the world throughout 60s and 70s doing USO shows.
Yeah, she was a performer in the USO and performed in front of big bands.
Yeah.
Then she settled in California, and she wrote songs, and she has over 300 songs written. I have them in a box in my room. One real quick story, and I'll let you go. She, finish it, Kayla. She was my musical inspiration. At the age of 10, she gave me a guitar and taught me a few chords, and that was it. And from that, I went to school, studied music, became a performer, and then Kayla followed in my footsteps.
Yeah.
But Aunt Skipper used to open up for Rowan and Martin in Vegas. And one time they asked her if she would be interested in participating in a TV show pilot. And she thought, man, these guys are square. I'm going to go on another USO tour and tour the world.
These guys are square. Right?
She came back, and you know how the story ends, right? Rowan and Martin.
I don't know.
You know the TV show?
Oh yeah, sure.
Laughing.
That was the show they were doing.
She would have been a regular on Laughing. She
could have been Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. Exactly, or with Buzzy, but either way.
Shakatomi.
She made a left when maybe she should have made it right, but
sometimes you zig when you're supposed to zag, but
she did start a publishing company.
So we ended up living with her for a few months. My dad sold his recording studio to a radio station in Portland, Oregon. We lived there for a couple of years, wasn't for us. We decided to move home, but on our way home, we found ourselves in Southern California for 3 to 6 months living with my Aunt Skipper in what I would call an artist community. I think some people would maybe refer to it as a little bit of like a hippie compound, but it was it was very cool. And I think it's like the reason none of us in the family are normal, and it's more fun that way. But
pranksters.
Yeah.
We were up there for about 4 months.
Yeah. And
out of a trailer up in the top of a mountain.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
And there was no connection to any, like, we didn't have really TV. She had like 6 VHSs that she had from a library that we'd watch.
Awesome.
And and she'd play her guitar and sing, and I was like, this is too cool. I want to be a rock star so I can live in California and I can sing songs and I can live on a mountain. And I never let that dream go, and here I am in my 20s
You
still
were 3 years
Yeah,
old.
I was 3 years old. Now I'm in my 20s. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be a rock star. I want to live on a mountain, sing songs.
But are you willing to live in a trailer with only 3 VHS tapes? I mean, 6 is a lot. I had 3. I lived in a camper with 3 for years.
The hippies know how to party. I think I'd be entertained.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I concur with that statement. So there you go.
Yeah, so the publishing company was called.
Her publishing company was called Crystal Lady Publishing. And when she passed away, we got a lot of her music, and I learned a lot about her. When I started a band, I was like, how can I tie her into this band, because she is such a big inspiration for both of us. And he told me about her publishing company, and I was very into like trippy, hippie 60s music at the time. I was like, oh, Crystal Lady, I could start a psychedelic band, it'll be cool. We went totally opposite direction, went hard rock, but
Yeah.
the name Crystal Lady I still love. I'm not getting rid of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're saying you're not all meth heads? I thought for sure.
So speaking of
Allegedly.
That's to be surprising.
speaking of running the family, Corey Smotherson, you have a whole family of musicians too that folks may know about, right?
Yes, sir. Boyne Smotherson is my father, and he's been playing here in the St. Louis area, just across the country, honestly, for the past like 30 years, 40 years now probably. And he's actually the one who started me, my cousin, and my brother as well, all on the drums. And so just from there, I should say it really started with my brother first, and then it went to my cousin, and my brother's name is Nathan Smotherson, and my cousin's name is Chuck Smotherson. And Chuck Smotherson plays with a lot of different people around here. But when it came to me, he started me off. Only thing he did was he showed me a paradiddle, and he was like, you got it, go. He was like, teach us something if you want to play. But his main thing with me, he was like, with my brother and my cousin playing, he really wanted someone else to play something else. So I didn't really necessarily start off with playing the drums. I played clarinet and trumpet first. And then it wasn't until after college where Dylan hit me up, because me and him have known each other since elementary school, like we said. And then he asked me to join the band, and then that's when I got back into drums.
Yeah, so drums were probably around, but you didn't spend a lot of time.
Right.
Sorry.
They were around, and we have a garage that a lot of people who've come through here and played, like even national acts, have come to my garage and actually rehearsed there.
Okay,
and
like who?
We've had. I don't know if you know this guy named John
Chuck
P.
Berry, I know him.
This guy, no, but I grew up in the church, and this guy named John P. Key, if you know who that is, but we grew up in the church, so gospel was kind of like what I started off with, hearing a lot and playing. But John P. Key actually came through, and we have a church that my grandfather started a long time ago called CIBC. Okay. And our choir, he actually came and performed with them, and I forgot what venue they played in. I have to re-ask him again, but I forgot what venue they played, but they actually played with John P. Key, who was like a national gospel act, and that was a really good time. And that's like one of the things, I didn't ever get to see it. I was not born yet, but they still have the poster up in the church where the event happened and everything else like that. And so that was like a really cool thing that
awesome.
My father told me about. But yeah, they were around, but I played them every now and then. Whenever my brother or like cousin would come in, and they would just be like, "Hey Corey, let me show you this," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." But most of the practice was on the clarinet and the trumpet when I was younger.
Well, I was wondering about Chuck Berry because Dave Toretta played with Chuck Berry.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. And he's a bass player, just like you.
Yes.
Right.
I do play
Yeah.
bass.
You do play bass, and you love your gear, don't you?
I do, yeah.
You do.
I'm the gearhead in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan Ruzel, and you knew Corey forever, so
Yeah.
you knew you could talk him into this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit up a couple of my friends, and then a couple of them were like moving to New York, and I was like, oh, Corey's not moving to New York. I'm moving
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going nowhere.
Yo.
So yeah.
I'm dead.
He's gonna be stuck here forever.
He needs something to do.
All my other friends, they got talent. Like, Corey, he needs to work on some stuff.
He plays the clarinet.
He's basically gonna do it.
Right.
Didn't you tell us a funny story earlier? Did you make a note?
Yeah, he did. He told us a story about playing the Sheldon.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us that story.
They were doing like really like post like quarantine when stuff started opening up, they were doing like shows, but they would videotape them,
Live stream.
live stream them,
yeah.
and you'd have video and stuff. And I brought an and the Sheldon is like, you can play like an acoustic guitar on that stage, and the entire like audience thing would be able to hear it. It projects really well.
If someone
Yeah.
coughs, you hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That room's interesting because it seats 1,500 people, but the way they have it built, like you could
No,
whisper.
it's-
Really?
It's not.
I was like,
that's the
no
other
way.
room, right? No, yeah, that doesn't.
I was gonna say there's nowhere near 1,500 in there.
Maybe
Oh,
what?
700?
I think it's 4 something.
Okay.
It might be 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That room?
Anyways.
Anyway, I brought a really big amplifier because I wanted to look cool, and since we're being videoed, I figured they'd just like mic it, DI it, and they wouldn't mic the room because we're a loud rock band, and why would you mic a room that small? They decided not to do that, and mic'd the room, and my amp was big and turned up loud, and it just didn't sound good. And I don't think they even aired it because we were like weren't happy with it. They weren't happy with it.
They put it up, and then we asked them to take it down.
Yeah. So that was my bad, guys. Sorry about that.
Well, and tell them what happened 2 weeks later.
And then I play with another band, the Jake Curtis Blues Band, and they were also going to do it. And he was talking to Jake because, or I guess whoever books that show was talking to Jake, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like 2 weeks ago, some like idiot bass player brought a really big amplifier. That guy sucks, man." And Jake just didn't say anything. And he told me, and he was like, "Don't bring the same amplifier you brought." And I kind of wanted to, despite him, but I didn't.
Yeah.
See, it would have been really funny to walk in with a same
Yeah.
amplifier. Keep it turned way down.
And be like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
Have a little pig nose or something that you're actually playing through behind it. That no one knows. Yeah. That is a thing. If you're recording a room like the Sheldon where you do hear everything,
Yeah.
you have to play bluegrass style. The band needs to mix the sound live on stage, and and that's a tough room for a rock band to play.
Right.
Chris the Lady had done a Notes from Home show there in 2015-16.
When it was more of an Americana
Yeah,
band,
when
yes.
it was a little more, I wouldn't call it Americana, it was more jazzy.
Yeah.
He's thinking the very first incarnation.
I'm thinking with that, the
The
first
trio.
one, the trio. I
yeah.
saw some videos that was like a mandolin. I mean, it just
Yeah,
seemed very. It
okay.
seemed more Americana at
Yeah.
that time to
That's
me.
kind of really before they were actually a band, but
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so back to Dylan. Always bass?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I owned a guitar very briefly because I played a rock band, and I was like, "Oh, this is sick!" And my dad like bought me a guitar, and then I tried to make sound with it using the whammy bar, and then it didn't make sound and it confused me, and then I broke a string on it immediately, and I never picked it up again.
That is something we actually never really even talked about. Because I remember when we re-linked back up, was it like a brief time during like high school? I actually had no idea that you even played bass. Like when, I don't know, when we like reconnected, it was random.
Yeah, no, I thought we met at CWA. Did we meet earlier than that? I have an awful memory. You said you came up to the high school I was at one year, and I don't remember that.
I think it was before CWA, because I forgot what. Oh, okay, you just don't even remember.
So you're not important enough to me, Corey.
So you say your dad bought you one guitar.
Yeah.
How many basses do you think you have at the moment?
At the moment, I'd say mid-30s. I've got not enough or too many. I can't decide yet.
I would say not enough. Keep
No,
going.
thank you.
The
Encouraging
tendency
advice.
with any collection is to push it.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I got my pocket. No, that's all right.
And then, yeah.
An army of effects pedals too.
30,
oh yeah, effects.
30 basses and just as many pedals.
More. Because I build my board, and I also build Nick's board, and then I have a bunch of stuff that we can use in the studio that we just don't use, and they just sit at my house, but I like them.
Right.
And then I've got a bunch of amps, and I got a bunch of guitars as well.
Wow. He is the gearhead.
I need to start getting into drums.
And Corey's like,
that's a great idea.
Coming.
That's a great idea, Dylan.
So then moving on down the line to Nick here. Now, Nick, you're just...
I think this is where the rock comes in.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, you like to rock because, I mean, you can shred, dude.
I try.
Yeah, I was impressed with some of that playing.
Appreciate it.
So where does that come from? Who are you into, man?
A lot of stuff. I am in a lot of shredders stuff at the moment, especially like Paul Gilbert, Jason Becker, Guthrie Garvin, all these monsters. And then I grew up listening to the classics, Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan was my biggest, probably starting out. But Jimi Hendrix, him,
All my favorites.
Santana, Van Halen, all the classics, Angus Young. Yeah, I started when I was 11. My dad got me a guitar for Christmas one year, and went from there. Yeah, I used to play trombone before that. I played trombone from 6th grade to 12th grade, but guitar is so much cooler.
Yeah.
So
Keep the brass up, though. That's where it's at, man. The ring of brass is beautiful.
I dropped my trombone. It's done for.
He did that on purpose, people. Trust me.
Only half. Only half.
Only on purpose. So you're sitting around Georgia one day. You get a call from your uncle,
It was my
your
stepdad.
stepdad, and he says he wants you to come to St. Louis to help run a store.
I had just dropped out of college. I went to school for music in Columbus, Georgia, for jazz guitar, and I dropped out because I didn't like the other stuff I was having, like biology and math and gym. No, I was just like, all right, I learned all the music I need to. I'm done. So it was either go to St. Louis and help my stepdad out, or go work on a cruise ship potentially. I was going to maybe be a cruise ship musician because I had an in the cruise ship. Knew a guy who ran the Carnival Cruise Line bands for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, I ended up coming up here and I found them on Craigslist, and yeah, it worked out. I liked the music that they had online and stuff, and I liked the whole vibe. I was like, maybe I can, give them a little oomph, a little southern flavor. I don't know.
Bring a little southern rock into it all.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And Dwayne Allman.
Yeah, we got one song that I play slide on. We're gonna have that on, record that eventually. But I like all that kind of stuff.
That's cool. You
Skinny.
brought up Jason Becker because I don't know if everybody here knows that story. But
Oh man, he's the monster of monsters. He was how old was he? He was 19 or 20 when he was diagnosed with ALS. So he became paralyzed from the neck down and everything. But before he had done that, he had recorded with Marty Friedman from Megadeth. He recorded with David Lee Roth, and he was just the scariest guitar player of all time. And it's just
and he's still writing music. This is the cool part. He's with his father. They developed a language using his eyes.
Yeah.
And he turns his eyes different ways and it means things, and he's still
He composes
composing.
with it. It's-
Wow.
He gets other guitar players to play on his albums because he can't do it. So,
Right. He can't physically do it, but he writes the music with his eyes.
It's wild.
Look up that documentary.
He's really
you want to
cool.
be inspired, check out the
Yeah.
Jason Becker
That's my guy.
documentary. Yeah.
Who was the jazz guy that relearned how to play guitar?
Oh, that's Pat Martino. That's another guy. I learned about him in college. Yeah, he was wild. And Pat Martino was a guy who had a brain tumor, and he was a monster of jazz guitar. He could play all the lines. He knew everything. And then they had to take the tumor out, and it took a piece of his brain out too, and he had to completely relearn how to play guitar. And when he first heard himself on a record, he goes, "Man, who is that?" And they're like, "That was you, man." He goes, no. But he learned guitar by listening to himself, oddly enough, which is that's
He
crazy.
kind of makes me sad because I haven't gotten that good once, and he got that good twice. He got that
Just
good twice.
just forget one day that you'll hear it.
That happened with Jerry Garcia. He got in a coma in the 80s, and when he came out, couldn't play guitar. And one of his buddies, Merle Saunders, a keyboard player, came in and helped him start relearning music right in the hospital before he got released.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it
think
happens.
Dave Mustaine had to reteach his left hand how to play guitar after a drug incident.
Tony Iommi got his fingers cut off, right?
Yeah.
So here's a question I like to ask guitar players. How long you been playing?
17 years.
Okay, so a little longer than YouTube. How's it feel when you get on YouTube and see a 10-year-old play Jason
It's
Becker?
always felt awful. YouTube was around barely when I started playing, and that's how I started. And ever since I started, there were kids. I was 11. There were 8-year-olds kids killing me back then. Doing I don't know.
You should feel proud of him, but you just want to hit him.
Yeah, I do.
I get it.
Hey, we all feel that way, but it's unbelievable. You can see, yeah. So I just had to ask that question.
Oh yeah, that's.
So there you go. So now you guys are currently working on a new CD, correct?
Yeah, new
A
album.
new album,
Over,
and how many tracks have you got in the can so far on that?
Yeah, it's 6 that are out. You can stream them online. They're on every streaming platform.
So 6 singles already released that are
singles are
on
out.
the album, and you got 4 more to go?
We're dropping 1 more next week, and then we got 3 or 4 more after that. Yeah, we're deciding if we want to put 10 or 11 songs on the album. We kind of have this formula where it's like every time we drop 10 songs, we'll call it an album. But we've got like 1 more song that was written with that like grouping that I kind of think we should just throw in.
It makes more sense to put
Yeah.
it with this group than to save it for the next one. It might
Exactly.
be all new stuff.
Yeah. We've actually got like 35 songs written last time I did a count. We started like 3 new ones last
She knows
week.
how many songs you've wrote. You don't know how many basses you've got?
I don't like to keep track of that.
I'm an OCD brain. I have to know all the details. I have to have it all like
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you like me to mentally count them right now? So you have a definitive number?
Sorry, we're out of time.
You couldn't start counting.
I don't count so good, so that's, yeah, I understand.
What's after 3 again? All right, so anyway,
yeah, we have
I like you. You're all right. So far, Dylan, you're okay by me.
Let's go.
We've
I
got
agree.
a few minutes left. That's probably going to change. So, Kaylee, you say you got about 3 or 4 more to go, looking to maybe put the album out.
probably summertime, I'm thinking.
Summertime?
Yeah, we're booking tour dates right now, and we're just, no one really like buys music anymore, so it's like the music's out there, so we're touring it and you can stream it. We're giving out cards where you can find it, and we're going to be playing Chicago and Indianapolis, Salem, Illinois. We booked something in
Davenport,
Iowa. We're hitting up
You're getting up in Jimmy G territory.
Yeah.
Up there.
Kansas City, Omaha. We're kind of just going anywhere and everywhere in the Midwest that we can get to, like, first stop within 5 hours, second stop within 5 hours, and then come home.
Sure.
And,
Triangles.
Yeah, building triangles out of St. Louis. And we're going to be doing that all summer.
Yeah.
And we'll have a cool out. Yeah.
You guys are playing around here quite a bit,
Yeah, we play.
especially at the Marina Bar. You're there in June, July, and August.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's at Holiday Shores.
I
where we-
love that gig, man.
Yeah.
I need to make friends with someone who has a boat.
We'll be at the
I've lived out
back
there
bar.
for years. That's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Man. It's a nice little place to stay.
You guys play the back bar there in Edwardsville?
Yeah, I love the back.
Yeah.
Oh, I love my
Yeah.
college kids. They go nuts, and they know the lyrics to our original music. That gig was supposed to be a cover gig, but we end up going there. We play 4 hours of music, and it's half to mostly original, and those
Yeah,
kids
good
go
songs.
nuts
They
for
go
it.
hard for us.
Yeah.
And Mary, the owner of the place,
Yeah.
they pour them drinks.
Oh, they pour them heavy. Yeah. And it's,
There's a tight
and it
drink
is-
everywhere.
They treat you good over there.
yeah.
If you're there to casually drink, yeah,
No.
be cool because they're there to get you drunk.
Yeah, I love my SIUE kids. They'll come out in their Crystal Lady merch. We have one of our singles that we released called Vampires Need to Get Laid
Right,
too.
yeah.
And we're making a really cool video for it right now that'll be out in a few weeks. But these kids, they all bought the t-shirts that we had. Dylan's cousin, who's an artist, designed this like sexy pinup vampire lady and then put our band name and the name of the song around it in like creepy, drippy blood letters. And all these kids come out in t-shirts that say vampires need to get laid too. And then they get in front of the stage and go nuts. And it's like, if someone didn't know what was going on there, they'd walk in like, what the hell is this?
It's called a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that merch available at crystalladyband.com, and you guys are on Instagram, TikTok,
Oh, yeah.
Twitter, Spotify, all the digital download places, and you got a Patreon too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we
And,
got-
and you do like stuff that if you're a member you get to see but no one else gets
Yeah.
to see, right?
You could
Like a
probably see-
cooking show or something.
Yeah, we got a cooking show, we got a podcast, we do blog posts, you get our music for free there.
Yeah.
I'll do like exclusive video clips and behind the scenes pictures that aren't being released to Instagram because they're not like, pretty enough, but it's like, look at this funny thing that happened.
He's talking about you, Nick.
What are you gonna
We were
do?
thinking about having Dylan give us some foot pictures.
Yeah, Dylan might sell some feet pictures.
I just learned this.
We've actually all talked about, and I'm so on board with it. We've talked about starting an OnlyFans where we all sell feet pictures, and like we'll do whatever you want with our feet
Wow.
because we've got gas money that we need to to get on tour. And I was like, what if Crystal Lady hit because it like a story broke? Like, look at this rock band selling feet pictures to fund their tour.
That's how stuff happens.
Wherever I mean, the film,
There's a market for it.
Story too.
At first I was like, oh, that
package.
could be some funny pictures until you said the words, "We will put our feet in anything." I thought, oh, this is interesting.
I think I said something to the guys like,
Be careful with your
if we're
words.
advertising like, what, you want us to like wash our feet in hot dog water and then have a thumb war with our toes? We'll do it. We need to get to Davenport.
So I tried to teach a good friend of mine this for a while. A great parlor trick: learn to flip people off with your middle toe.
Yeah.
Hard to do. Hard to put those other toes down. But man, is it, like, it would be a great trick to have. Every time someone mess you with
They'll throw you off.
I would pay to see that.
Right? Someone would pay for that.
So the got a website?
Website, and it's got all of our
CrystalLady.com?
CrystalLadyBand.com.
CrystalLadyBand.com.
Yeah, I think CrystalLady.com is someone who sells like crystals and candles.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
She's okay. She's a sweet lady. Yeah, she's got a lot of cats too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Crystal Lady Band works for Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Yes,
That's
all of
what
it.
you want to
Crystal
do.
Lady Band.
And on your Facebook page, you have plenty of free stuff. So,
Yeah.
they're not Patreon members
Oh,
and
yeah.
just want to check out what's going on with
We
this
get
band.
goofy on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Little
definitely get
taste of it.
goofier behind the paywall because not as many people can freak out about it.
If you paid to look at it, you can't complain.
Yeah.
You got a show scheduled in August at the Grafton Oyster Bar.
Yeah,
That's
that's
one
a
on
fun
this
one,
side.
too.
And September is when you hit the road, right?
Yes.
That's when you
Or no, we're hitting the road in as early as June.
Davenport, Iowa in September, Chicago in September.
We've got Salem in June.
Is it June 24th or something?
Yeah, June
Salem,
25th.
Illinois. Is
Yeah, and then we're
yeah.
probably going to hit Lexington off of Salem.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the
So-
big one we want to talk about
Yes.
this Saturday.
No,
April 9th.
yes, April 9th, yeah.
You aren't playing the game, girl.
Almost for
Choo-choo. So the big one we want to bring up is this Saturday, April 9th.
Yes, okay.
You're going to be playing? Go ahead.
We are going to be playing on the Pops Road to Pointfest show. These are the finals, and we have been playing this show for 3 years. Well, this is the third year. We did 2018, 2019, 2020 was a crap. We did 2019, 2020 didn't happen. 21, 22, yeah. So we are we're in the finals, and if we move on to the next round and win there as well, we will secure a spot at Pointfest at
Nice.
Riverport, Hollywood Casino Amphitheatre, whatever it's called now. And I would kill to be on that lineup because some of my
Who would you
favorite.
kill to be on that line? If anyone? Just random people? Or would you kill someone you know?
before we start.
I mean, that's a heavy statement. I'm just wondering how far would you kill someone? Close friend?
I don't want to publish my hit list just in case I snap.
Okay, I mean, like, if it's monkey's paw, we just hit a button and a random person dies. I might be into that, but like, I don't want to take out like someone close to me unless they made me angry. So I was a heavy statement. I just wanted to get down to it. So that if you win the next round, it puts you in the absolute finals,
The grand
to get
finals,
on
yes.
the stage for Pointfest.
And
So
I want this so bad. I've been trying to do this for years, and on this particular Pointfest lineup
Yeah.
is Highly Suspect, who is one of my all-time favorite bands. I've seen them
that's
live.
highly suspect.
Yeah, I almost said a bad word. I love Highly Suspect.
Yeah.
And then Hailstorm, love them too. And then my cousin, he's good friends with Jelly Roll, who just got big. And I love his music as well. I would love to have my name, even if it's in small print, be on a poster with them, because I just idolize so many people that are going to be on the lineup this year. And we've been doing it. And I just, I really hope this is the year for us. Our good friends, the Richters, they're on this lineup. We've done shows with them in the past. They're killer. So a big portion of the points that they score you on is crowd participation. So it's based on, is your music good? Does the crowd participate? And
How many tickets?
how many tickets?
Right.
The obvious one.
And so every ticket we sell puts us in a better and better and better position to potentially move on and
Yeah.
potentially get to Pointfest.
Now, do you remember who's on this lineup? I'm pretty sure Accidentally on Purpose is on this
Accidentally on
lineup.
Purpose is.
We love those guys. That's
Yeah.
his nephew in that band.
They were our guests last week.
Oh.
According to in this place.
So Accidentally on Purpose, Shots Fired, Crystal Lady. I think there's 3 more bands. I could pull it up if you want all the names.
Yeah, we like to
But-
tell it.
Yeah, so let me grab
we
that
got the
for you.
list on cottonmouth.org. I just didn't bring it with
Yeah,
me.
so anybody who wants to find out, just go to cottonmouth.org and you can see that whole lineup. But you want to remember Crystal Lady. They want your bid. They want your
Yes.
participation.
Absolutely.
Come on out.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, when they go to purchase tickets, they just type your name in the code, right, and that counts for you guys, right?
Yeah,
Is that still
it
going on?
does.
Yeah.
And we've got that link on our social media. And we also have physical tickets, old school, if anyone wants them.
I see them
Yeah.
right here. I smell
Right here,
'em.
yeah. They are $6 a piece, but what we've been doing is we'll give you 2 for $10. We'll eat the extra $1 for pops.
That's how you do it,
That's
guys.
thinking.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So either head to the finals with Accidentally on Purpose.
Yes.
Both you guys are going to advance.
Yeah.
So if people want to get the tickets and put this code in, what is the website to get those tickets and put the code in?
It is. I've got it right here.
You were so unprofessional. You're so unprepared.
Ticket.
We got the link.
We do have the link at cottonmouth.org. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Cottonmouth.org.
Cottonmouth.org. That's where you'll find it all.
Right.
Just go to that. So
Say that some more.
Cottonmouth.org.
Album Music Company.
Cottonmouth.org. All right,
CrystalLadyBand.com.
there you go. Our guests tonight have been the band Crystal Lady. We got Kayla, Corey, Dylan, and Nick, along with Joe.
And Matt Van Boris and Macias and Cherry.
And we want y'all to give them some love. Check them out, Crystal Lady Band, on any site. You will find them. Go out and see them this Saturday at Pops.
Yeah,
At
Pops.
So there you go.
Come see us. We'd love to have you there.
Thanks so much for coming down, guys.
Thanks for having us.
We will catch up with you later.
A lot of fun.
Thanks so much to Halpin Music. Thanks to Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance. And everybody remember to get out and support local music and art.